I'm going to get this going because I know he's got some information on it that we all need to hear. He always does. He's always got something that is right on the brink of something that we wanted to learn, something we were going through, whatever. But the gentleman I get to bring up today is don't mistake this for anything less than this man is 100% businessman. Okay. He's been my friend. He's been my mentor first because I had no idea he was the ETL when I first saw him, and he was smoking the lines. And so he's been my mentor in that aspect of it. And he's became a friend over the years, which has been a blessing because you don't find many people like this. They say if you die with 5 good friends, you died a rich man. And Julian's one of my 5. And from what he came from, he was doing 50 plus flights. But here's what's crazy. He wanted something different. He knew there was more out there. Here's the thing, guys. You can't be an amazing father if you're absent. You can't be a mentor if you're absent. Okay. So through this business and through his commitment and his choices, he's actually been a, what do they call that? Yeah. Active father. And it makes a difference. I'm telling you, it makes a difference in our children's lives. Okay. But his commitment to himself, his commitment to his team, his commitment to his friends, and his commitment to help people is what separates him from so many people. Guys, today I get to bring up my friend, my buddy, and my little brother, Mr. Julian Lewis.
Before I even get started, I just want to let you know that everything he said is true. I remember first meeting him. I remember him coming down. And then as we were on a run to promotions in this company, we became friends. And you get to be in alignment with people who have the same values. He cares about his family. He loves his kids, his grandkids. He enjoys being there for people. I mean, he was a firefighter, for goodness sake, prior. He's there to support people, and he found a unique way to do it and generate money in this business. And I think that's special. And so I appreciate everything you said, and I'm excited to kick off this call this morning. And I'm so glad you did it this way because we're going to be talking about authenticity this morning. And the reason why is because I was on the call yesterday, and didn't Regional Vice President Lakeisha Coles, didn't she do a great job yesterday on the call? Amazing job. And it got me thinking about a few things. It got me thinking about one of the things that the Mazers used to always say. Mazers used to always say that ACN as a company is the same for everyone. Product is the same for everyone. The only variable in the equation is who? You, the way you show up. Can we agree if we were to just line by line go through Lakeisha Cole's training yesterday, that all that information was delivered, it was simple, it was straight to the point, it's what you got to do. Can we all agree? Oh, and by the way, hey, I want to tell you right now, first off, for those of you that aren't on, that your camera's not on, I'm the guy. I want to see you. I don't care what you have on. Listen, some of us are in our homes right now. Some of us are busy taking care of children right now. But that's why you're on the call. I think sometimes leaders make the mistake of wanting people to show up with a suit and tie instead of just showing up. I know you're here for the business. This is a training. This is not a presentation. And I want to see your face. I'd love to see you. So if there's any way that you can make that happen for me, it would be an honor, because if I don't see your face, it's kind of like talking to someone and I'm talking to you, but you have a bag over your head. In other words, we showed up to the date, but you aren't what you look like on the internet, and you catfished me. Now you're scared. Okay? It's okay. Reveal that truth right now. Anyway, so I'm going to get into it. Authenticity is everything. And I want to be really, is it okay if I'm just really blunt and transparent with all of you this morning? Is it okay? Sam said, always. I appreciate you, brother. Everyone else, is anyone else scared just a little bit? Okay. Okay. So let me be really transparent. And hopefully you know this is in love. I remember looking at this industry, and I was like Chris said, you know, I was doing well for myself. I was a senior systems engineer. I was breaking six figures in my early 20s. Everyone was saying I was doing great. I went to school, did everything that I was supposed to do, but I was busy. And I had question marks. I had doubts because of how I was feeling. Everyone was telling me I was doing great, but inside I felt terrible. I used to make a joke that it was like my roommate, he owned the place, and he'd walk around and show people his home because I was never there. Does that make sense? Like, everyone's saying, no, but no, it's okay. You're doing the right thing. Everyone was telling me I was doing the right thing, but deep down inside, I just felt uneasy. Like, I know what they're saying and I know they love me, but something about doing this, just sacrificing my entire life and time to work for something that it didn't feel like a purpose to me. It didn't sit well. Can any of you relate to that? But I pushed through because these people were, you know, authority. I pushed through because they were older, wiser. Obviously, my feelings didn't line up with the wisdom that they were trying to bestow on me. But it didn't get better. So when my daughter was born, I put my head down. I went to work in this business because I said, you know what? Screw what everyone else is saying. I have to be able to be okay with the decisions that I've made in my life. And if I don't, I'll regret it on my deathbed. And I don't want to regret that. And so I decided to move as a man standing on my values and what was important to me versus what society and older, wiser people were trying to pitch to me. 6 months building this business part-time, I was able to replace an income and come home to my family. My daughter was 6 months old. She's 17 years old now, to give you some time. I've been home the entire time, okay? Now, when I joined though, I remember sitting down at the presentation. And I've always been an observant person, Chris, like always. You know, when we sit together at the International, I'm always people watching. This is just my thing. Like, I love watching human nature happen real time. Like wherever we are, it's fascinating to me. And I remember being invited, and I wish Bill Bailey was on here. I remember being invited, and I showed up to a meeting, and here's how the meeting went. This is old school. I don't recommend it. It was old school. This guy named Tim Gottesman, he showed up to the meeting from Palm Springs. And he was the guy. He was the big deal. He was the closer. And he had a whiteboard, and he wrote down on the whiteboard, back then the cost to get involved was $499. He wrote down $499. But we couldn't see what he was writing. This is the first introduction to ACN. So he's writing something, and he turns around, and you see $sign and a 4,
Okay,
9,
I
and a
found
9.
this on the web for Aisha, so he's writing.
Sorry,
simple.
Siri
Check
just
it out.
interrupted the call. So Siri has issues. Give me 1 second. So when it came to Dan, he turned around and he stepped away from the whiteboard, and everyone saw the $499. And he said, before we get started, this opportunity costs $499. If that's an issue with any of you, get out. Let's just let that sink in. All right. People started leaving. Straight up. People were like, you don't have to tell me twice, I'm out. But me, Chris, me being the weirdo that I am, very observant, I'm like, this is very interesting. I want to stay and see what's happening. I need to see how this plays out. This is wild. Just start the meeting like this. It's like boiler room, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross type stuff. So like, wow, this is crazy. So I sat through it. So I was fascinated, Chris. And so I was saying that I had to see how this plays out. And the part that was an issue for me was there are parts through the presentation that I was uneasy about that seemed a little inauthentic. And what I did is I pushed past that because the information was great. The information, it made sense, getting paid on necessities every single month, all that made sense. And then afterwards, my first mentor, he introduced me to this guy. He said, I want to introduce you to this guy, Mr. Bailey. And so he introduced me to Mr. Bailey, and Mr. Bailey's job was to enroll me into the business. And I thought it was great, but because I was so busy, I really needed time to think about it. Not, I'm saying I need to think about it because I'm trying to run for the hills. I really needed to assess it. And I could hear the sales tactics coming out. Does that make sense? And so that made me even more uncomfortable because I started thinking in my mind, okay, timeout. I like this, but I felt like, all right, I like this opportunity, but I don't like the way I'm being treated right now. Am I going to do this or not? And I'm trying to explain this to you because these are some of the feelings that new people are having. And some of you may relate to me and remember how you felt. I remember going home and I started thinking about it. I filled out the paperwork. I put my card information down, everything. And I remember going home and it wasn't about, is this great? Because I was an engineer. So I looked up the comp plan. I did all these things myself that night, but it was, how did I feel about the organization? Did I feel like these people were real? Can anyone relate or understand what I'm talking about? And so the battle as a new person, my hesitation in going breakneck speed was, I don't know how real these people are. That was my hesitation. And I think I could have gone even faster if I believed without a shadow of a doubt that these people were real, 100%. I started to feel like they were real. And then I went to trainings where people were saying things like, fake it until you make it. And then I got hesitant again. Because if I did that in my career, I would have got found out and then I would have got fired. I would have gave me a box. I would have been talking to HR. Does that make sense? So then I started to really slow down even more. And so I'm telling you all of this is because we learn about what to do. We learn about the product and then we learn about the company. We also learn about mindset, right? We learn about, and mindset is important. But if you have the right mindset, but you're not authentic, human beings can feel that. 80% of communication is nonverbal. So human beings can feel that. We feel when we step foot on a car lot and the person is being inauthentic and they're just trying to get us into a car. And we have this unusual feeling to run. And so what I wanted to talk about this morning is important because I think it's something that we don't highlight often. And I feel it's one of the reasons why a lot of incredible people aren't attracting in the way that they want to attract. It's because they're trying to be coachable so much that they're losing their authenticity in the process. And so because of that, I wanted to bring up a few things. for all of you that were key for me, and some stats, because I love data. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a numbers guy. So let's talk a little bit about authenticity and how it plays a crucial role in people enrolling in your program. Okay, the program being ACN. Let's talk about trust and authenticity. So when it comes to trust and authenticity, according to the survey by Cohen and Wolf, 91% of consumers worldwide say they are more likely to buy from a brand or people they perceive as authentic. All right, I hope you're taking notes on this, because this is big. And I'm not just going to leave you with it. I'm going to give you some resources that can help. Is that cool? All right. Building rapport. A study by Edelman found that 63% of consumers believe that authenticity is one of the most important factors when considering a brand's products or services. Not are they the best, not are they the cheapest, not are they the magical unicorn, most special. No, it's authenticity. Number 3, customer loyalty. A report by Label Insight revealed that 73% of consumers are willing to pay more for products or services offered by authentic people or brands. Relationship building. In a study conducted by the Corporate Executive Board, 86% of buyers stated that authenticity is a key factor in deciding which sales representatives they choose to work with. 86%. Emotional connection. Have you guys heard of the Harvard Business Review? The Harvard Business Review suggests that emotionally connected customers are more than twice as valuable as highly satisfied customers. Authenticity helps create emotional connections that drive long-term customer relationships. Let's get to what we know, word of mouth. A study by Bright Local indicates that 92% of consumers trust recommendations from friends and family, highlighting, get this, highlighting the importance of delivering authentic experiences that prompt positive word of mouth referrals. So if you have friends and family, but now you sound phony, James, and you call me and I'm your boy, I know you forever, and you start talking funny, you know what I'm saying? They got James. They got James, and guess what? They're not getting me. I'm out. Can anyone relate? And I'm sharing this with you because the trust allows you to go faster. If James called me sounding like James, excited about James stuff, I'm in. But if James calls me sounding like John, and his voice changed and he's like, "Hi, Julian, this is James. I'd like to talk to you about something that's important to me." I'm like, James, who's holding the gun to your head? Who got you? I don't want anything to do with it, because if I know James and they were able to mind bend James, they might mind bend me, and I don't want that stuff. So I'm sharing this because this is important, because this is something that people don't tend to click with. So these statistics emphasize the significant impact that authenticity has on enrollment, reinforcing the importance of being genuine, transparent, and building authentic connections with prospects and customers. And there's more studies. A study by the Sales Management Association found out that salespeople who were rated as authentic by their customers closed 15% more deals. Another study by the Harvard Review found that customers are 50% more likely to do business with a salesperson they trust, and trust is built on authenticity. A study by the University of Pennsylvania found that salespeople who were perceived as being authentic were more likely to be enrolled by their customers. Everything that I'm telling you, here's some tips to be more authentic. Number one, you guys ready for this? The good stuff? Be yourself. Wait. Did you hear that? If I tell you we're recruiting warm market, is warm market people that you know? So is there a good chance that they know you? It is. So Diana, if you're not being yourself to the people that know you, isn't that going to come off as strange? It's going to come off as inauthentic, and they're going to run for the hills. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Customers can spot a fake a mile away, especially if they know you. Be genuine. Be interested in your customers and their needs. Be transparent. Be honest about your product. Be honest about your service. Be honest about the program and what it can do. Be confident. Believe in yourself and your ability to help and support the people you enroll, whether it's customers or whether it's independent business owners. Listen, when you're authentic, you build trust and rapport with your customers and with your team, which will lead to more customers and more enrollments in the future. And here's some additional benefits to being authentic in this business. This is one that it took me years to learn because I had to unlearn bad things that I was taught. You'll be more likely to enjoy the work you do. Victor, can we agree that if you're in a position, whether it's at your job or in a business, where you are allowed to be yourself, you have more fun doing what you're doing? Is this true? You'll have more fun here. This is a big one. You'll be more successful in the long run. The mini-me micro machine copycats that start out, they might see a little quick jump faster than you, but when they're found out to be a phony, it all goes away. Ironically, my first mentor taught me, he said, time will either expose you or promote you. But I think it makes more sense when it relates to authenticity. And here are some, another one. You'll be happier and more fulfilled. Now, let me ask you a question. If a stranger, we're talking about people that don't know you right now. If a stranger runs into someone who they can sense is happy and fulfilled, do you think they might be curious about that? Do you think they might wonder why? Why is this dude always happy? Why does he always seem satisfied? Why does he always seem content? I don't have that in my life. I need to know whatever it is that he's eating, drinking. What is he doing? Do you get what I'm saying? All right. What if you're more happy and fulfilled, and that leads to you being more successful in the long run, and smart people can put two and two together, do you think they might get to a point of starting to pique their own interest? In other words, you living out you piques their interest. And here's something that's also important about it. James, I got to know you and I like you for you. But there are people that have got to know me that like me for me. And there are people that got to know me that don't like me for me, right? How many of you like mushrooms? See, I don't understand that conversation. Wait, I'll ask another one. Put in the chat, first of all, this is if you know what it is. How many of you know what grits are? Grits? All right, put in the chat if you eat them with sugar, and then put in the chat if you eat them with salt, pepper, and cheese. Okay, no, Rick, I didn't say you don't eat them at all, just if you eat them. Okay, so T, we can be friends. All of you sugary eating grits people, I rebuke you. I rebuke you. Okay? Here's what happened. Your ancestors really wanted cream of wheat and they didn't have any. And so they put sugar in grits and said, oh, this is just like cream of wheat. And then they passed that generational curse down to their kids. And so they have people like Sharian eating sugar with grits. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. But what I'm getting at is I don't like mushrooms. Some of y'all like mushrooms. I don't like sugar and grits because it's an abomination. I just don't like it, but I still love you. I still love you. And this is my point. I probably get along more with people who are aligned with me. But if I'm not showing up as me, people that would be aligned with me can't find me. I need that to sink in. Because would it be easier to train someone who's aligned with genuinely who I am, or train someone who isn't? And so if you're faking it, if you're doing all these things to be inauthentic, then those steps that Lakeisha gave you yesterday don't work. And it's gonna be a painful existence in the company. And I'm sharing this as someone who had to figure that out myself. I'm sharing this because anytime Diana sees me in person, I'm the same guy. I'm the same guy when Chris sees me. And if you've been around me in public and you see how people are drawn to me, it's not because I'm doing a corny ACN pickup line. It's because I'm just being me. And when people recognize authenticity, they gravitate to it because there's so little of it being shown in the world, not because people don't want to be, but because they're taught that they don't have enough. And I want to be the first one, if no one's told you, to tell you that you're enough. You have everything you need. Who you are is enough to attract those that already are looking for you. They're looking for you. But if you have a light, like a lighthouse, authenticity is turning that light on bright. Being inauthentic is dimming that light, and people can't find you. And so I want to give you some books that can help. Okay. One of the books that for sure I know right now that I've been recommending that really help people is Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It's incredible. It's by, let me see, Travis Bradbury and Gene Graves. So they provide a practical guide to understanding, improving your emotional intelligence. It builds up the concept of emotional intelligence. So it's important because emotional intelligence helps you to become more self-aware. And if you're more self-aware, you can understand who you are and who you aren't, and how you attract and how you don't. And then you can take those tools that you're given from Lakeisha and ACN, and it's magnified. Does that make sense? All right. Now, let me give you some more goods. Let me give you the goods. So another one, get to it, is just Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Then there is Daring Greatly, How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live. One of my favorites is The Power of Now. And one of my other favorites by Don Miguel Ruiz is The Four Agreements. That's an oldie but goodie. So, and do you want to, if those of you that are readers, you want a bonus one, this one's solid. It's been revised, but it's revised edition has been around for a little bit, but Brene Brown is one of my favorites. And it's The Gifts of Imperfection. Start to fall in love with who you are. The things that you consider quirky become the things that develop into your genius. So yeah, so I know not a bunch of ACN customers and customer getters today, but I think we had a pretty detailed training on how to do ACN yesterday. And so I just wanted to take how you show up doing ACN today, because it's who you're being that's attracting while you're doing. It's just not the words. So with that being said, Mr. King, I'll turn it over to you, sir.